Hello everyone, this will be a video on my old WorldEdit system that I did a long time ago. I'll be doing, let's see, what was on my list. I have a brush command, curve, circle, mirror, flood fill, and fill to point. Those are all the ones I'll show in this video. Several of them are already sort of done, so I won't have to do anything. For this one, it's very easy though. You just select the point that you're going to be going to. In this case, we're going to level 4, and we're just going to have a fill. Like so, and then fill 4, fill stone. We're going to set a place the command block down. It has to be placed down, set to always active. We're going to exit the command block, go back in, set this to fill. And now when we control middle click, this does require a keyboard and mouse in this case, then it will automatically fill in everything to that point. You can do this generically as well with any XYZ point. It will just fill directly to that location, which is obviously pretty useful in a lot of cases because it can fill stuff in a lot faster, especially for terrain and other things like that. So yeah, this works pretty well. Not entirely sure what this is for. Oh yeah, this is another one of those ideas for copy pasting very large Minecraft builds. I guess I'll showcase this one slightly. Literally just you have one command and you do that same exact trick as I did before, and you can just move it from one thing to another. Just do it layer by layer instead. So then the only thing you have to do is place the command blocks and it will copy over. So you only have to get the coordinates right once and it'll work for everything else. Then the next one is the mirror command here. I have shown this one before, I believe. I'm going to show it again. If you have some sort of build and you want to mirror it over to the other side, then you can do this trick here. As you can see, I have it slowed down so that you can actually see it working. It's extremely easy. It's literally just the clone command, but then every single time it increases by 2. So it's that one number every single time changing by 2. And you just do one command for each. Surprisingly, doing like 30 of these is not that bad. And if you have a very large build, it's definitely worth it. So you can just copy this over and mirror it over to the other side. The next one is my brush system. I really liked this this brush system. It worked, in my opinion, surprisingly well. And you could technically combine it with anything that has armor stands. So you could do it with a straight line. So just teleport an armor stand toward another armor stand. So you have armor stand A, and you have it go towards armor stand B, and you could just have this be pasted in a straight line. I also did that with my curve generator, which I'll show in a moment. And then you could also have it where like emerald blocks get replaced with air, which for whatever reason this doesn't work. And I really don't care to actually fix this because that will take way more time than I'm willing to actually take. I think it's because I'm too close to the ground. But anyway, also circle as well. And I'll show that in a moment, which there's plenty of tutorials on circle, so I don't really need to show that. Let me grab a pickaxe real quick, put that in my inventory, and then what was it? Oh yes, a lever. We're gonna take my lever here, turn this on, and we have this working, which it should be working. Apparently not. Let's see, how did I do this one? Oh, in this case it is sharpness and not that. There we go. And there we have it. Relatively easy way of doing like a brush. In some ways, I prefer this over even some of the Java stuff because, as you can see, you can do relatively complex shapes pretty quickly. I would even say better than Java in some cases, or better than normal WorldEdit. I actually, like I said, still prefer it in some cases to normal WorldEdit. And the command system is pretty simple. It's literally 3 commands. We just have detect if the player that has the tag brush gets sharpness. If they're basically, if you're able to execute the sharpness command, that means you're holding something. In this case, it has to be sharpness 1. Then the next thing we do is teleport the armor stand 30 blocks forward in front of the player that has that tag, and then we just clone this platform, the entire platform. It's quite large, and I have it adjusted to go to the center. So in this case, it's -14, -14, and we're just cloning it to that armor stand that is called wand. We're just cloning it directly over to there. You could also technically do it without. You could do it on the player and just do this 30 blocks out from the player, You don't technically even need an armor stand. I prefer having an armor stand just because it's a little bit safer, because you could just delete the armor stand. So realistically, you could do this with not one command. Actually, yeah, I guess you could do it actually with one command. If especially with the new system, because you could do execute positioned. You could do execute positioned like this, right, and then do it 30 blocks out. This is the old system for commands because they are that old. This is paste. It's the exact same thing, but you place down the armor stand, and then it pastes the thing directly here. So you can just take this and paste it down. That's really useful. You could build a tree here. So you build your tree, and then you could use your armor stand. You place your armor stand down, or your command block, and just paste individual paste these down, and they immediately die. That's also relatively easy. This is the exact same thing, but now we're just cloning to the armor stand called B, which is going to be teleporting towards armor stand E, it looks like. So beginning and end is how I set that up. Yeah, so we have beginning and end. And we also have a curve here. A curve is something that I'm not sure if I have in this world set up in an ideal way, but that's relatively okay. I guess I'll show you it anyway. Let me get the armor stands here. So we have beginning, end, and then I think the middle is D. I have no idea. Let me actually delete the thing here. And there is a order that I have to do for this, and I'll show you how it works. So once I show you, it should be relatively obvious. Hopefully I'm not destroying anything on accident. That's one of the issues with these older systems like this. So we have armor stand here, we could have an armor stand here, and we're going to have an armor stand here. Let's just put the end here. Let's put the middle here, and I guess this will be the beginning. Oh gosh, I accidentally got stuck in here. Yep, there we are. So, okay, it looks like D, I did it slightly wrong. And let me actually do this a little bit larger this time. So this will be D, this will be E, and this will be B. Okay, it looks like I did it slightly wrong. There we go. And it does do a curve that way. Let me just do that one more time, and I'll explain how this works actually. So we have our first armor stand, which is our beginning. Beginning teleports our middle here, so it gets teleported towards middle, and middle gets teleported towards the end. The end is basically just in a straight line. No matter what, it will always just go in a straight line towards the end. And this one is always going to try to go in a straight line towards the middle. But as the middle moves and sort of goes along, as you can see, you'll end up tracing a curve along this this point. And we can actually sort of see that. Oh, that's beginning, not what I wanted. I'm going to be stuck in here now. There we go. It looks like that's wrong. There we go. See, that's teleporting forward. Oops, and I accidentally tagged that the end, the wrong one. Let me redo this. Here we are. So we're going to have beginning over here, which unfortunately got teleported because of a glitch in this. Oh, because it's dying because they're too close. I have to kill all the armor stands. Sorry about that. Normally they do end up killing each other at the end, but I accidentally summoned a different one. So I'm going to call this one the beginning. I'm going to teleport back out. We're going to have the end be over here. This does not teleport to the end, and then this will actually get teleported there. As you can see, it follows it towards the end. The only thing you actually need to know to understand how this works is to literally just have the first armor stand teleport towards the second, and teleport the second armor stand towards the third. And that is it. And the only thing you have to do after that is do a set block or a clone or something else. It is surprisingly simple. You don't really even need to understand how it works, though I would probably recommend that you understand how it works. Either way, like I said, very surprisingly simple. Air is doing this exact same thing, but it's just replacing the emerald with air. Just use whatever block that you don't have in your build and replace it with air, and you could use it as a negative. So if I had this flipped upside down as a V shape, you could actually use that to carve out a ocean. Then now this is for a circle, which will be a lot easier. Because of similar reasons, I actually have a center and an edge command for this. Makes my life a little bit easier. That way, actually, I don't remember if that actually works the way that I set it up, but I don't care. So we have our center here, and it's teleporting in a circle. Then we have our edge, and it's just going to go around in a circle. Right, that is it. To explain how this works, you just rotate the armor stand and teleport it however many blocks forward, in front of it. So again, we're just teleporting the armor stand at its own position, and then we're teleporting it by just rotating it. In the modern commands, it's TP, let's see, TP Mr. Jcraft, see current position, and then yeah, literally, as you can see, we can run that over and over again, and it's going to work the exact same. Then we have the second part, which is teleporting the edge armor stand 15 blocks forward. You don't actually need this. Only thing you need to do is clone this 15 blocks forward from our center. The extra armor stand is not necessary in this case. It just can be a little useful sometimes. Regardless, that's the basics of that idea. Now, the next one, which actually might be even more useful, because most people know about the circle one, is this. So we can take water. I'm not even going to use the commands up top, and we can just replace. I mean, we can fill, and we can do like, in this case, like 30, -1, 30, -30, -1, -30. And we're going to set this as water replace water. And there we are. We just filled the entire thing up with iron. In this case, what I'm going to do, with water. Now we're going to do water replace replace diamond block, and I did that wrong. So we're going to do diamond block replace water, and there we are. This means that we can take any shape and fill it in. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that's only useful for filling in something like this. If you have a shape, even something like this, now there's no walls currently, so this would be a bit of a mess, but you can take this exact same idea and do it here. So if this was actually filled in, you could do the exact same thing. So if I actually took this, and let's actually do, let's do glass, so you can actually see on the inside, or I guess I could do barriers. I want to do glass just because we can see a little bit better. So if we just take this and fill it in, like so, this is extremely useful. There we go. So now I can do the exact same command, fill water with, oh, wrong command. Replace water with water. Fill water with water, fill water with water. It's hard to get it to work properly when you don't set up the command correctly as well. Let's do this as tens instead. It's a little bit easier and for this particular shape. There we go. Now it's filled in with water. And obviously we could do the exact same thing that I did a moment ago and just replace water, replace waters with diamonds, or whatever block we're wanting to fill it in with. Right, and that's it. Like, now it's filled in, which is something that's pretty useful if you need something filled in. It can be laggy if it's really, really, really big, but in a lot of cases, like I said, it works surprisingly well. You don't really need that much more than that. Let me just double check my notes here. So we have fill the point, already did that one. Flood fill, that's the water one. Mirror, already showed that. Circle, I showed that. That one's an old one. Most people should know that. You just rotate the armor stand. And then we have curve, and I already showed that. And we have brush, which again, that's the basics of just doing a WorldEdit on Bedrock Edition, the old way of doing it without using a add-on. And a lot of these are actually pretty useful even still to this day. I would prefer them over WorldEdit in some situations. Obviously, WorldEdit is more convenient because it's already just pre-installed, but I have been tempted to make these as like a generic data pack that I can put in any world because, well, yeah, like having a brush that just follows your cursor can actually be, like I said, pretty useful. And doing a straight line like that, you just do this, right? You can use yourself to draw a straight line. You can use yourself to draw a curve. You can just do whatever shape that you want. You can sort of just draw in 3D space, which makes it like a sort of like a VR kind of thing. Either way, it is quite good. That is the entire video. I believe that is it. I'm going to post this basically unedited. I am sorry, but I'm trying to work on some game development. If you want to follow that, you can. I will be posting stuff maybe on this channel, but probably on a channel dedicated towards the game development stuff. If you, like I said, if you do want to follow that, I will have it linked in the description. Do not follow that channel unless you actually want to see programming content. Like they're heavily programming content. I don't want people subscribing and then not watching the videos because it can cause problems. So if you want to watch it. If you don't. I don't really care. On this channel right now, I'm just trying to post all of the content that I never got to, basically, in terms of tutorials and stuff. So anyway, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later.